may be seated. My name is Doreen Prendergast, and I'm the Managing Director of the Housing Agency of Jamaica Limited. I'll be your Master of Ceremonies for this very brief ceremony. Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister and Minister of Economic Growth and Job Creation. The Honorable Edmund Bartlett, Minister of Tourism. The Honorable Homer Davis, Minister without portfolio in the Office of the Prime Minister. The Bishop, the Honorable Conrad Pitkin, Custos Rotolorum of St. James. His Worship the Mayor, Councillor Richard Vernon. Mr. Norman Brown, Chairman of the Housing Agency of Jamaica. And Mr. Ruelin Jai, N&Fifth Construction Group. Staff of the Housing Agency of Jamaica, residents of Edmund Ridge, well-wishers all, good afternoon. The ground for this project was broken on August 9, 2019, on 132.55 acres of land at Rhine Park, St. James, which was purchased for us by the Tourism Enhancement Fund. Today, despite interruptions by COVID-19 and other weather and socioeconomic factors, this said land has been transformed into the Edmund Ridge Estates, a development made possible by a joint venture partnership between the Housing Agency of Jamaica Limited and N&Fifth. And it comprises a total of 6 phases, 739 solutions, and 8 different unit types. Of course, this is a response to the effective demand for affordable housing, and it allows us to chip away at the existing housing deficit that has been touted to be about 15,000 for the longest while. The units range from 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom detached bungalows to a more sophisticated 3-bedroom, 2.5 bathroom premium split-level unit, townhouses and apartments, all with modern amenities and a vista of no ordinary proportion. To date, 4 of the 6 phases are advanced along the various stages of the construction process, with 2 phases completed and occupied by many of the residents that are here with us this afternoon. So today, in this very brief introductory ceremony, we intend to go through a short proceeding, and then we will go on a tour. The whole intention is to showcase the progress and the outcome of the development to the Prime Minister and other stakeholders, and to underscore the significance of this partnership. I will now invite Bishop the Honorable Conrad Pitkin, Custos Rotolorum of St. James, to bring prayer, and thereafter the program will flow seamlessly. Persons are invited to just come up and follow. Thank you very much.
Thank you, MD. May I invite us to stand for prayer? Please bow your head as we give thanks for this another beautiful day and the blessings that God has afforded us. Let us pray. Gracious Lord, it is with a sense of gratitude that we approach you today, giving you thanks for the vision and insight of those in whose hearts you have placed the concept and vision of this development. We pray, Lord, your continued blessing upon our Prime Minister, Andrew, and the members of his cabinet. Grant him, we ask, divine wisdom and courage as he lead your people. Dear Lord, grant us, we pray, freedom with discipline, motivation with understanding, and determination with compassion. Give us the will for self-preservation and the strength and power to help those who are willing to help themselves. Lord, give us insight and patience, wisdom along with a sense of duty and ability coupled with
my friends in the audience who were cursing us to say that we're taking areas, Grange, Red. This is where they used to shoot their birds in the hunting season. But to see the transformation now, I have been trying to explain to people what this area and this scheme has become. But I don't think my words could have done it justice. Because everyone I've spoken to today who have been here for the first time has seen a scheme that is like no other, even along this stretch. Minister Bartlett, I would say, I attended the Baratal groundbreaking, but this is the scheme. This scheme is where the quality of life will blossom. And we are extremely proud, and we are only halfway through. I want to personally thank you on behalf of the HAJ family, Minister, because you are indeed our strongest stakeholder. You have quietly been helping us to improve the lives of tourism workers right across Jamaica, not just here. The Tourism Enhancement Fund has enabled us to put infrastructure in Shaw Park, Miami Bay, Providence in Flankers, Lilliput, Barretal, Whitehall in Negril, Norwood, Grange Pen, retirement. So you have been quietly just assisting us in making a tremendous difference. And I want to publicly thank you for that vision and that partnership, sir. And we hope and pray that it continues because it has changed lives. And that's what we are about. HAJ Agency of Jamaica, the Most Honorable Prime Minister, when he assigned us here, he said, we must be relevant. This agency must be relevant to the people that we serve. And that means we have to find solutions to providing houses. We had this site from 2009. And we had issued an RFP locally. And the cheapest price point we got in 2009 was about 21 million because our contractor was saying that the elevation was very difficult for the infrastructure works and so on. And when the government returned to office in 2016, we got a proposal from Henan that they could do it and come in at price points that were within the target range for us. And so we stand here today looking at the results of that collaboration. And so, Prime Minister, we are very happy. The scheme is, I would say, most of what we have built, well, we can't build them fast enough. When we had the first 140 units to the market, 600 people turned up with deposit checks and pre-qual letters. We had to have the police to assist us to maintain order. That's the demand, and it has continued. And so we are about 50% through, and we are hoping to continue along this path and to finish in a very short and efficient way and to see as best as possible we can contain the price point so that more people can afford and to turn this scheme into a model scheme for this entire Rosal stretch. So Prime Minister and members, welcome today. I hope you are enlightened and we will be looking forward to showcasing a lot of what we have created here. Thank you.
Master of Ceremonies, Mrs. Doreen Prendergast. I heard you when you said that it's a short session now, before we go into the tour. So I'm going to quickly recognize my Prime Minister, or Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable, Most Honorable Andrew Holness, Prime Minister of Jamaica, and Honorable Edmund Bartlett, Minister of Tourism, World Tourism Minister. Say it again. Okay. Yes. Our World Tourism Minister and Member of Parliament for this constituency, Honorable Edmund Bartlett, or Member of Parliament, Mr. Hero Clark, Honorable Deputy Speaker of the House, and Custos Pitkin, Honorable Conrad Pitkin, Custos Rotolum from Parish of St. James. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is a wonderful day. I greet you on behalf of the St. James Municipal Corporation, and I invite you to congratulate, or give me a second, please. My apologies. Minister Omar Davis is right here as well. Let me recognize you, sir. My apologies, sir. I didn't realize. So I greet you on behalf of the St. James Municipal Corporation, and I invite you to give the HAJ a round of applause. The HAJ has been doing a tremendous job, and we are particularly pleased with what has been unfolding in the municipality of St. James. Today, I understand that the Prime Minister asked where the mayor was for the function earlier. But, Mr. Prime Minister, the amount of work that this government is doing, sometimes it's hard for us to be at the same place at the same time. While you were busy breaking ground earlier, we were at the St. James Health Services, popularly known as Type 5, with Petrojam, doing a handing over of an equipment that will be used to sterilize medical supplies. So We're ensuring that we offer not just health care, but quality health care. And there are some persons who are saying, no, go on. But let me tell you, a lot of things are happening in St. James. A lot of things are happening in the city of Montego Bay. When we are not commissioning new water supply systems, we are breaking ground for new housing development. And let me tell you, the business and construction confidence in Montego Bay is growing from strength to strength. We're moving from $10 billion in applications processed 2 years ago. Last year, $11 billion. And for the last fiscal year, 2024, 2025, we have processed $13 billion in building applications. So the confidence is here, and I will make my commitment, Prime Minister, to ensure that the St. James Municipal Corporation properly onboards the Aspire program so that we can accelerate the application process to realize more development in the city of Montego Bay and the municipality of St. James. So as we move forward, as a city, as a municipality, as a country, I encourage you to stay positive, to encourage those who seem to be a bit daunted by negative information. And at this point in time, we realize that ignorance is convenience. So we want to enlighten those who are feeling a little bit ignorant about what is happening in our country. So let me take this opportunity to say, God bless you all, and we're looking forward to bigger and better things. Thank you.
尊敬的安德鲁总理阁下，尊敬的巴特内部长，尊敬的蒙贝市长，尊敬的 HAJ 主席鲍仁先生，各位社区业主代表、媒体朋友们，大家下午好。
The most honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Andrew Holness, the Honorable Minister of Tourism, Mr. Edmund, His Worship, the Mayor of Montego Bay, Mr. Richard Vernon, and the respected Chairman of HAJ, Mr. Norman Brown, and all the representatives of this community, good afternoon.
今天，总理阁下亲临艾特蒙奇社区开发建设项目，关心项目的建设情况，关心居民的满意度。我谨代表河南五建集团，向总理阁下、牙买加政府、合作伙伴以及所有关心、支持项目建设的社会各界、社区居民表示最诚挚的感谢。
Today, the Prime Minister personally visits Edmund Ridge Estate to oversee its construction progress and to hear the voice of the homeowner in this community. On behalf of Henan Fifth, I would like to express my most sincere gratitude to the Prime Minister, the government of Jamaica, our local partner, CDD, and all individuals who have come here to show their support for this project.
自2020年项目启动以来，我们与 HAJ 以及我们的合作伙伴 CDD 公司携手同行，克服了山体地势陡峭造成的设计和施工困难，以及新冠疫情的影响，共同书写了社区的发展篇章。目前，1期和2期工程已分别于2022年和2023年顺利交付，为255户家庭圆了安居梦。
Since the start in 2020, we worked hand in hand with HAJ, our local partner CDD. We have overcome the challenges of steep terrain and the impact of COVID pandemic. Together, we delivered a new community. Phase 1 and Phase 2 has been completed and delivered in 2020 and 2023. successfully handed over 255 units to 255 families.
3级工程1号路89套房屋即将于今年5月交付使用，3号路20套将于今年7月份交付使用。4期、5期、6期工程的基础设施目前已完成50%。4期的房建将于5月1日正式开工建设。
So another 89 units in Phase 3 is planned to be handed over in May along Road Number 1, and another 20 units are planned to be handed over in early July. And about 50% of the infrastructure in Phase 4, Phase 5, Phase 6 is complete. And the building work of Phase 4 will start in May 1st. And we are planned to completely handing over this project in the end of 2026 with all its works.
我们计划于2026年底全部完成爱德蒙里奇项目738套房屋及配套的基础工程建设。今后我们将继续严格把控质量标准，确保每个环节精益求精。2、深化本地合作，持续带动当地就业和技能提升。3、提供完善的交房服务，让业主满意入住。
So moving forward, we will continue first, strictly implement the quality control, ensuring excellence in every aspect. Second, deepen our cooperation with local workers, continuously creating employment. And third, provide a comprehensive unit handing over procedure to ensure the satisfaction of all homeowners when they move in their new homes.
这个项目能够顺利推进，得益于亚美尼亚政府的大力支持、HAJ 的理解信任、合作伙伴 CDD 公司的鼎力相助，以及每一位建设者的辛勤付出。相信在不久的将来，这里必将成为牙买加最宜居、最有活力的社区之一。
So this project cannot be successful without the strong support of this government, without understanding of HAJ, without the strong assistance of our local partner, and the hard work of every construction workers. I firmly believe that Edmund Ridge Estate will be one of the most livable, vibrant communities in Jamaica.
筑梦牙买加，共建新家园。我们将继续以专业和诚意为牙买加人民建造更多高质量的房屋。
So building dreams in Jamaica, creating new homes together. We will continue to build more high-quality homes for the people of Jamaica with profession and sincerity.
最后，祝愿各位来宾身体健康，万事如意，祝愿中亚友谊长存。谢谢大家 ，Thank you, Thank you very much.
Wish all you the best and our friendship endure. Thank you all.
Well, you know, today is really my day. Sorry, Prime Minister. I have to take it away from you today. Today is my day because this is a red letter day in my life when a scheme that honors my existence is really given officialdom. And it is a very humbling moment. And it's something that I feel a great sense, of accomplishment within myself. Because when we acquired this area first in 2008, thereabout, just after we became government then, we had no notion that the development would have been like this. But we gave it over to HAJ as we did, Grangepen at a later date, the result of which is today perhaps the single most exciting housing development anywhere in Jamaica. I looked at these schemes when we began, Prime Minister, and you may wonder why my salutations is sounding this way, and you must forgive the emotion attached to it. It is because this really means a lot to me and my own stewardship too, as a member of Parliament for 23 years in East Central St. James. So, Prime Minister, we welcome you here, sir, and in a very special way. And we welcome you not just as Prime Minister of Jamaica, but now we are dubbing you the real deliverer, because you are the man who not only conceptualize and visualize and conceptualize, but you deliver on your concept and your vision. And that is much more than can be said for most prime ministers that we have had anywhere in the world, not just Jamaica, in the world. And so, Prime Minister, we're welcoming you on that basis to say that when you have done well, we require more of you. And so what you started in term 1 and term 2 has to continue to? All right, okay. I've said it all, Prime Minister, so we get it clear. And Mr. Ranji just told you that this is only halfway through the development. So we're only at phase 3. So we have phase 4, phase 5, and phase 6. That sounds like some more time to come? Eh? Exactly. So we have things to deliver in the next round. And that is why there is need for the next round. And so we are second on that. So, Prime Minister, that's the context in which I welcome you here, sir. I want to welcome our Custos, who has a little more than just being the Governor General, Vice King's representative in these parts. But he's part of this whole development as a director of HAJ, and also a very important part of him resides somewhere here. Yes? First and second generation and all. So, welcome, Custos. My mayor, first citizen of the city of Montego Bay, who you heard him, that vision that he's put forward and the mission, but more important, the energy that Mayor Vernon has brought to the city of Montego Bay is just unprecedented. And, yes, Minister Davis, you did well, and you had energy too, but and I know you look at me when I say the energy that he has brought here, but it's true. And for no other reason that he came a little younger than you, so he's supposed to have a little more energy than you. My colleague, Member of Parliament and neighbor next door, and of course, Heroy is such a source of inspiration, both as Deputy Speaker of the House as well as two-term Member of Parliament in this area. Mr. Rowan G. and the team from Highland 5 have been here with us, and we're delighted the way you've integrated yourself in the community. And Prime Minister, it is true what they have said about their social responsibility. And because a little later today you will see a demonstration of that social responsibility in terms of providing shelter for the less fortunate and those who probably couldn't afford one of these, but their generosity conveyed itself into that space and will be taking care of a family here in the Spot Valley area. Patrick and the team, well, we know, Patrick is kind of a present and a past and a future and everything. He's all around the place. He's like the Jamaican Willie Penny, the Jamaican Willie Penny. Find him everywhere. And everywhere he is, he's doing a good job. We just left Brookside a while ago, where again, he has featured in the partnership with Hin and Five in that delivery. Councillor Murray and Prime Minister, Councillor Murray has not had a chance to say a few words in any of these two events, but Councillor Murray has been the backbone in this area. Is a third term, yes? It sounds like third term, right? But yes, Councillor Murray has been a consistent part of the leadership here over the years and has done marvelously well. And Prime Minister, just allow me to close off this section by recognizing the President of the Citizen Association for Edmund Ridge, Ms. Sana. Sana, stand and let everybody see her, so I know that she is here. Yes. And it is good that, you know, the community is building. And the most important part of community development is the governance of the community. And so leadership is important. And Sana and her team have been there to provide that leadership. So yes, this will be a very brief comment that I have to make, Prime Minister. The salutations was longer and will be longer than my actual comment. And the comment really has to do with the need for now the building of the energy of the community of Edmund Ridge. Because it's not sufficient for us to have these wonderful buildings, and they are lovely. The view is to die for, and the walkable, livable space is here to enable community movement. But the energy of a community is with the people, and the people can only express that energy if they are organized and they are structured. And so I look forward to the development of that organization, SANA, and the strengthening of the social fabric within this area, the building out of the green spaces that allow for this kind of not only aesthetics, but for perambulation of our children and so on, playing area for all of them. But Prime Minister, the further development of the area has also to do with some of the basic infrastructure required, such as water, sewage, and all of that, which we have. But the development of Edmund Ridge is not unto itself. It is part of a broader, wider area, Prime Minister, which includes now Rhine Park, which has over 1,000 houses, Rosedale, which have over 600 houses. And then there are the communities around which happened before we came, Cornwall and Palmyra and Paisley and Spot Valley and Zion and Kinggate and Queen Hill and all those places, and Palm, now Palm, yes? Exactly. So we all have these communities that we have to deal with. And the call, Prime Minister, is for water. And so we are showing you that tank over there, Prime Minister, which I know that NWC and Enan have been talking about an HAJ, 500,000 gallons to be put into that tank. Refurbished tank, 500,000, along with the new tank that has just been established. And Prime Minister, we would then have covered the entire water needs for all those communities that I've spoken about. And we are well on our way in the discussions. We just want to make sure that the budget is right and that the actual project starts. And therefore, we will no longer have a problem of water in this area, because Prime Minister, a week and a half ago, you commissioned on a pump that is capable of providing 1.5 million gallons a day, which I think is the pump with the greatest capacity anywhere in Jamaica today, of a single unit pump that can provide 1.5 million gallons of water per day. When we are able to get now that water pumped into this 500,000 gallon tank, and then by gravity feed into the communities around, we would have solved that problem fully. So, as we look at building out the urban center that we spoke about a while ago, it's all by Prime Minister about now making a complete community, housing, social and physical infrastructure, and people who are now being able to develop their talents, their skills, their creativity to build out the strength of what true community is all about. So thanks again, Prime Minister, for the support you have been giving. Thanks to the teams that have been working with us. And I want to say to the beneficiaries of this scheme that yours is now the task to really make this place the most livable, the most happy, the most desirable destination anywhere on planet Earth. Thank you.
Please put your hands together and welcome Dr. the Most Honorable Andrew Holness to the lectern.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. This is supposed to be a tour and not necessarily anything other than that, but it has turned out to be quite a ceremony. And as we are in that mode, there are a few points I would like to make from the point of view of housing in Jamaica. I'm eager to tour these units. I recall when I broke ground here in 2019, there was great anticipation that the project would have been completed before now. But a few months after breaking ground, we were impacted by the COVID pandemic. And when we are having these conversations about the timeline for project completion, somehow we forget that we were impacted by a global pandemic. And for the HAJ and the NHT, as I mentioned earlier at another event, it has disrupted the delivery timelines. And in this project, it had significant disruptions. Nevertheless, the project is now underway, full steam ahead. There are 739 housing solutions that will be constructed here. Phase 1 and Phase 2 are already completed, I believe occupied already, and those communities are flourishing communities. You already have a citizens association in place. Phase 3 is already sold out. And Phase 4, 5, and 6 are underway in varying stages. So this project is well underway. The HAJ, I'm sure, wanted me to see this project because I've been doing quite a bit with the NHT. In fact, today, I just broke ground for the development of another scheme with about 418 new housing solutions. And that housing scheme is the Brookside housing development in Spot Valley. And a few weeks ago, the 10th of April, I broke ground in Barrett Hall for another housing development. You see, on a fortnightly basis, I am doing something for housing. And I've been doing this now for the last 3 or 4 months, which tells you that we have many projects, not in a pipeline. You know, they used to say we have projects in a pipeline. And when you turn the pipe, you hear just this shh, the gushing sound of air. But for this administration, we have a trailer load, right? We have projects on track. And so we, at every stop, we deliver the projects. So we have a train load of projects to deliver to the people of Jamaica. This is really the first time that any government could make its performance record its campaign platform. I want Jamaica to consider that you now have an administration that could make its performance record its campaign platform. But we know that for the electorate, it is not sufficient to go and say, here is what I have done. Because in our democracy, you also have other elements saying, here is what we plan to do. Here is what we propose to do. So it is not a beauty contest of performance. It is sometimes a beauty contest about who can make the better promises. And oftentimes, in populations where you have what is called information asymmetry, meaning that some people will have full information, but most people will only have partial information. The people with full information, they are the ones who really have the power, because they take advantage of ignorance and lack of knowledge. And they go and make all kinds of promises, playing upon persons' disgruntlement, disaffection, playing on emotions to get them to support promises that sometimes don't make sense or can't be fulfilled. So what we have done as a government, recognizing that it is the promising season, we have done two critical things. The first is that we have made sure that anything that the government does, or put it another way, everything that the government does, we are going to bring it to the attention of the people. So we have these kinds of events where we showcase what the government has done. Because there is so many lies being told and misinformation being spread that even sometimes when the things are staring you in the face, because it has been crafted in a particular narrative, you come away with a view that nothing na go on. That's the common nomenclature that captures the essence of how some people feel. Nothing na go on. And this is absolutely not the case. Absolutely not the case. So when you look at this housing development of Edmund Ridge, and you see the quality of the housing that is developed here, this is nothing like Operation Pride. I want to make that point clear. So if you compare what this government has done relative to what the previous governments have done, then you can come to the conclusion that something good are going on in Jamaica. Because if you compare these kinds of development to Operation Pride development, then your conclusion would be that what was happening before was Operation Shame. And it is these developments that we are doing now that is really creating communities of pride, communities in which the homeowners feel that they have a really good investment, a really respectful investment, an investment in shelter that gives them dignity. And that is why we showcase these developments for the people, to counter the false narrative and the negative attitudes and the falsehoods that are being carried in various media and spaces. That is why we bring these to the attention of the people. Something is happening in Jamaica. Something good is happening in housing. The NHT has been tasked with delivering 43,000 housing solutions. The HAJ has been tasked with delivering 14,000 housing solutions. The NHT has just over 19,575 housing solutions that will commence construction within the next 2 years. In fact, 11,322 housing solutions are currently at the contract phase of development, meaning that they have gone through procurement and now we are ready to sign with the contractors to begin construction. And these include major schemes such as Mount Nelson in Manchester, which I broke ground for a couple of weeks ago. That's 1,758 units. Longville Park Pen, 2,077 units. That's in Clarendon. And Barrett Hall, which I just mentioned, 1,565 units here in St. James. For the HAJ already has approximately 4,000 housing units that are in varying stages of construction. But the HAJ has a special mandate, which distinguishes it from the NHT. So the NHT acts as market support for mortgages and housing financing. It does development. It works with developers and it finances development. But the HAJ is distinct from the NHT because the HAJ has a settlement regularization mandate. So in Jamaica, because formal housing development, whether by the private sector or through the public sector, through entities like the HAJ or the NHT, formal housing development has been very slow. And in the last 3 decades, housing developments have been in such a state that it has not kept pace with the demand that exists for housing. And so there developed over the last 3 or 4 decades a serious housing gap of about 150,000 housing solutions. And you get a sense of that housing gap, as the chairman of the HAJ pointed out. When he advertised 600 units, how many units you advertised, remind me? He advertised 140 housing units and 600 persons turned up. But we see this before. At Catherine Estates, we advertised something like 1,000 units and 1,600 units and 11,000 persons applied. So the demand for housing is great, and that demand that exists is precisely because the supply side of housing slowed down dramatically over those 3 or 4 decades. And that slowdown was primarily because our economy wasn't functioning properly. But more than that, we did not have the resident skills in construction to take on mega projects. And so even now we are still suffering from that. And we need now to develop our contractor pool to be able to take on massive projects. Now, announcing 739 units may sound like a lot, but 739 units compared to the 70,000 that we need to construct, compared to the actual 150,000 that we need to solve the problem, is small. Even the 19,575 that the NHT is going through the process with That's small relative to the big problem. If we are going to truly and genuinely make progress in providing the houses, we not only have to treat with the financing through the supply side, meaning supporting mortgages and supporting funding for developers, but we're going to actually have to now develop the contracting capabilities to have contractors who can take on mega projects. We would like to see housing projects in the region of 5,000 to 10,000 houses being developed at a time. Because once you start to increase the supply of housing, that is when the price of housing will stabilize and even reduce. Once we start to get into the size of housing developments that gives the economies of scale. To get that, we not only have to attract the contractors that have the skill and develop our local contractors with the skills, we must also find the lands that are suitable for development. And that has been another critical constraint on us expanding the supply side of housing, finding the land. And the third element is to have the budget to put in place the infrastructure. So when we talk about this lovely development, this site is on the ridge of a hill. This site was acquired in 2009. We could not find a contractor who would partner with us to develop this site and do the development in such a way that the price point would be affordable to the average Jamaican. So I want you to pay attention to this. Don't believe the people who come to you and tell you, yes, we can solve the problem and we sell you a horse that can't fly. There are certain realities that we have to consider. So from 2009, this plan was on the books to be done, but couldn't be done. Couldn't find a contractor who could do it. Price was a concern, and the terrain was a concern. In fact, the concern for the contractor who we got at the time was that if they were to clear this terrain, level the land to build the houses, then this could not be affordable house. This would be upper income housing. But that's not what the mandate of the housing agency is. The mandate of the housing agency is to build affordable housing. So we couldn't go with that one. Eventually, we found a contractor in Henan Fifth who would be willing to bring their construction technology and know-how and their construction management to the table. And they have been doing a wonderful job in managing the site, doing the construction, dealing with all the challenges that come with such a difficult terrain. And as you can see today, even after the setback of COVID, we are well on our way with building out affordable housing at Edmund Ridge. So for those who choose to believe the negative narrative, the false narrative, here is a visual, physical, and real contradiction of the false notions to which you hold. It is not just Edmund Ridge that we are building. Unlike what the previous governments have done under Operation Pride, where they build schemes, leave them half-finished, tell people to go on land and occupy the land without any titles, without any form of infrastructure. This administration is not going to leave any development incomplete or unfinished. We're not going to put people into housing solutions that turn out to be a nightmare for them. No. What we have done here is to build housing that will create an asset for you. What we have done here is to bring your dream, your aspiration for a house to reality. And the HAJ has been doing that in Sandown Palms, in Portmore. The HAJ is doing that. Tell me some of the other schemes you're doing, Chairman. And, well, how could I forget Catherine Estate? Catherine Estate is another housing scheme that was on the books from 2009. Again, was not done. This administration came, and we have brought that to fruition. And that's, remind me of the number of houses. You are doing 1,650 houses, and we are 50% completed there. And we have some other lands in Portmore that we have announced that we're going to be doing housing developments there. Overall, we have over 4,000 housing solutions that the HAJ will bring to market, including what we're doing here. So I wanted to make the point here that our housing policy is effective. Our housing policy is thoughtful, and our housing policy is not just aspirational, but it is practical and realistic. If you really want a house, then this is the housing policy to support. The policy that is comprehensive, the policy that understands the challenges, and the policy that is consistent. So this administration has ensured that we spend the money on developing infrastructure. So we are the administration that before we build any housing scheme, we make sure we put in the road, the proper sidewalk. You see right across there is a massive tank which we will rehabilitate, and we just built a new tank. The last time I was here, I turned on a massive water supply project so that these developments will have water. So that 10 years down the road, I don't hear people putting up placards, we want water, we want water. They never demonstrate to say, why did the politicians tell us to come and live here and never give us water? They never say that they went to live there where there was no infrastructure, and then we have to come and provide water. And the electorate continues in this mold. This administration has to break that. We have to break that. So when we say we're going to build a house or we're going to do a development, it is not incomplete or incremental. The people who live here will never have to go and put up placard about for 30 years they never have water. They're getting a development with water and proper roads and proper sidewalk and sewage. For a great part of the budget of the HAJ is spent on correcting housing developments by the previous administration, now the opposition, talking about housing. We have to spend, there's a housing development in St. Mary that we have to take the NHD's resources, over $1 billion, to go and put in roads and sewage that the previous administration just tell the people, go and live there. And people build up all kind of big structures there, No road, no water, no sewage. But yet they come and talk about what they're going to do for housing. Tell us how you're going to correct the problems you had created with your former policies. So we have to put on display what we are doing so that the people of Jamaica who don't know, and some choose not to know, so we have to put it in their face to let them know that this administration is the difference in housing. This administration has the plan for housing, but more than that, it is this administration that can consistently deliver housing for you. So, my friends, the housing that you're seeing here is what you call a mixed development. We have 1-bedroom and 2-bedroom bungalows. Oh, forgive me. No 1-bedrooms here. You have 2-bedroom bungalows, and you have some 3 bedrooms, and you have the townhouses as well, and apartments. So it's a mixed development. But not just mixed in the type of housing, but it's also mixed income. Right? Because you have housing at different differing price points. So this will give a great opportunity for you to build your family here. This will give particularly our tourism workers a great opportunity to acquire proper housing. And when we say tourism workers, sometimes the interpretation would be just persons who work in hotels. No. We are also catering to our taxi drivers, the people who yes, my friend, the people who support the tourism sector, the people who work in the craft markets, the tour guides. Those are also critical members of the tourism sector. And I'm certain, based upon what the HAJ has told me, that there is a very strong representation of persons who work in the tourism industry already living here. So we are very, 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 very pleased today to bring this housing development as a microcosm of all the other housing developments that we are doing across Jamaica, and to show you the difference between what we do for housing and what the previous administration did under their flagship program called Operation Pride, which was really nothing but bring headache and quite a bit of shame to persons who occupied or currently occupy those lands, for which this present administration is spending billions of dollars to repair, to correct, and to upgrade. We will not make those errors. What we will do is to ensure that when you make your investment here, it is secure, it is complete, and you can have the dignity of having a proper home. God bless you, and thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Prime Minister, for your timely remarks. At this point in time, we are going to be handing over the keys to one of our housing assistance beneficiary. That person actually occupied a space on this land when the project started. And between Enan Fifth and the Housing Agency of Jamaica, we decided to give her a house. So I'm going to invite you back, Mr. Prime Minister. I'm going to ask Mr. Wong and our chairman to come forward, and I'm inviting Miss Sawe, Miss Saw, and yes, and the minister. Miss Saw to come. Simone. Miss Hornsby is going to give the Prime Minister the key. Miss Hornsby is head of our Community Development Department. And she's going to...
I think you should explain a little bit. So, my understanding, yes, please explain what is happening here.
It would be good for me to have a map to show what happened when we bought the land from. When we bought the land from.
So tell us what's happening.
Yes, just a little bit of background. When we bought the land from Rose Hall Development Limited, there were some persons living on it. This section was essentially vacant, but there are two sections where there were some settlers, and they were pledged the plots on which they were living at the time by the original owner. What happened when we were doing our layout and the Henan was setting out, Miss Saw, who lived on the edge of what we call Section 1, her house was impacted, and the quality of her house was not satisfactory. And if you touch it, Miss Saw, it would have come down.
So between Henan and HAJ, we decided that we would demolish that structure, shape where she was at the time, and build a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, detached single-family house. She has about, how many children do you have, Miss Saw? 6 children. And at the time, I hope they're now attending school more regularly. That was also an issue. So Ms. Saw is a beneficiary of the Edmund Ridge Estate Development Project and the government of Jamaica.
So it gives me great pleasure to hand over your keys and to use your experience, as an example to the rest of Jamaica about how this administration treats with development. The objective is to ensure that every Jamaican has access to affordable, safe shelter. And if in the process of doing that, we encounter persons who we would have to displace, it is always done in a sensitive way, and we always try to help those persons to acquire regularized formal housing. Always. Right? So now, remind me of your name. Miss Saw. You are now the beneficiary. Hold on to your keys. You are now the beneficiary of your new home, which is formally recognized. You now have tenure. A much stronger structure than what you had before. Right? And compliments of Henan Fifth and the government of Jamaica.
Thank you very much, everybody. Now it's time for us to go on a tour of this site. The Enan team and the...
Sorry, she wants to say something.
Oh, she wants to say something. Yes.
Hello, everyone. It has been a blessed day. It's a beautiful day. You all look wonderful today. All right, today I just want to greet you all. In the mighty name of Jesus, he's the head of my life. And without him, I wouldn't be here today, right? And with that, I would like to greet my Prime Minister. Greetings, sir. The delegates, distinguished guests, I would like to say thank you. And for Housing Agency of Jamaica and Enan Fifth, I just want to extend my gratitude and say thank you so much for being there for me. They have been neighbors, friends, family towards me. Believe me, you cannot even imagine. Yes, so I just want to say thank you guys for being there for me when I needed it the most. There are times when I think I'm going to give up. I'm going to leave this place. But they are always there for me. And I just want to say thank you. God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. At this point, may I ask that you all remain in your seats for a minute. The Prime Minister will look at the map of the entire area and the layout of all the houses. So may I ask everyone who's not involved in that to just remain in your seats. Also, we'll have the officials just walk to the end of the road. So again, you'd have to stay in your seats, please, while they put on their construction vests and hard hats. We ask that you just remain in place as the Prime Minister begins the tour, and then we'll ask you to join us maybe in about 10 or 15 minutes after.